Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're checking out the Rodecaster Pro 2. Here we go. It's here. The Rodecaster Pro 2 is here, everybody. All right, welcome. Now, today's video is going to be kind of, I'm not going to say quick, but the thing is, I just got this yesterday and I'm getting really used to it. So this is not a full demo or review or tutorial or anything like that. I just want to give you my initial impressions and thoughts and show you some cool features because I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, as I have. So this will be a rough and ready, probably unedited, mostly video. I just want to talk about the first 24 hours and my thoughts on this device. I will show you some stuff as well, of course, as we go. So, first of all, I know you want to know what I think of it. I really like it, but I did have a few teething issues when I first got it, and I want to cover those today. Also, a bit of background. So I've been using the Apollo Twin. When we locked down, I needed a device to stream with, and I wanted a device with really good audio for my guitars because I'm a musician, but I also wanted a device that would do things like noise gates, maybe some effects, and have the sliders and everything like that. So I looked at the original Rodecaster Pro, but I didn't want it because it didn't have a dedicated input for my guitar. So long story short, I actually ended up going for the Apollo Twin, and I love that device. But it is, so the one I got is about twice the price of this with only 2 combo jack inputs. This one has 4. And don't get me wrong, the Apollo is amazing. You can buy plugins for it. Yes, exactly. Buy plugins. It gets really expensive very quickly. But in its defense, those plugins are world class and I absolutely love them. And to be fair, I have used it a lot and been very satisfied with it. So, of course, the first thing I did when I opened this one up is ignore all the cool things it has for a podcaster, which I do here on the channel as well, talking about gear and doing interviews and things, and compared it directly to the Apollo. Now, maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe you'll say that wasn't fair, but that's what I wanted to do. And initially, I had a few setup issues with the device, a few setup problems. I fixed those by, I think I was plugged into the wrong USB port and I reinstalled the firmware and reset the device, and then it worked fine. So obviously, that's just silly things when you get a new device and you're excited, just silly stuff like that was going on. But comparing it to the Apollo, the scenario I found, or the issue that I found, is that I felt it was more noisy because when I ran the Captor X, which is basically a signal from my amplifier into my Apollo Twin, there was some chattering noise. It's really weird. Maybe you can tell me in the comments what this is. There's no noise, and then when I hit record, there's like this chattering in the background, really soft, but it's there, and I used good in-ears so I could hear it. I pressed the button on the back of the device, which on the amplifier device, which actually is a ground lift, and it went away, or mostly went away, not completely. On the Rode Rodecaster 2, it didn't always go away. So my first thought was this won't work for me. I kind of want this not to directly replace the Apollo, of course. Again, that's not fair, and the Apollo will be a great thing to keep around here for studio recordings and other things, and I bought the plugins now. But I just felt like it won't be clean enough for me. Then I thought, well, I'm not going to be recording in Logic with it directly, and actually at times in my testing, it was quiet. I think it's more to do with the interference in the building, which I often talk about here, although to be fair, the Apollo is quieter. And also I checked out the latency. It has slightly less latency on the Apollo. So it is a better device for recording. If you're going to say to me, what do I get as a recording guitarist? I don't do many podcasts. I still push you towards the Apollo if you can afford it, right? It's still the more pro recording device. But the thing is, the Rode is very cool because it has so many features that doesn't have, or that you have to pay for, or that you can't even get on that device. And to be fair, it does get really close. The latency is very low on this device in comparison, and it's only slightly higher. And the noise is slightly greater, but only, I mean, like if I listen right now, I don't hear any of that stuff. It was just in Logic, and maybe there's a reason why Logic's doing that. I don't know. So once I got that out of my mind, I was very happy, and I started discovering awesome features on the device. Again, this will not be comprehensive, but let me just give you a little overview of what happened. So first of all, I noticed on the slider here, if I pull this down, in the mode it ships with, that will actually mute it in my headphones or change the volume in my headphones, but won't affect the stream on Ecamm Live that I'm using here. Now there's a way to change that in settings to make it post and not pre. Now I've done that, if I bring it down in the stream, you'll see the volume goes away. And I like that, and I like that you can choose either way. That wasn't the case on the Apollo, the way I had it set up at least, and that did cause me problems. The only thing is when I press the mute button, it doesn't mute it from the stream, just my headphones. So it's still sound coming through, but it's muted in my headphones right now. Now you might find that desirable. I'd like to see a future update where you can configure that. So if you suddenly want to quickly mute an input, you just hit the button and it mutes it completely without bringing down, without bringing down the fader and have to bring it up again. So a small thing there, there's only a couple of things I want to see added with firmware. That's one of them. Maybe you can do it. I'm very new to the device, but I love the way the fader is here. I love having the real physical fader over the Apollo Twin, with just that big knob on there. It's kind of annoying. And I also love that they've still kept the footprint of the device very small. It's impressive, and it's very light. Yes, it's plastic. It doesn't feel as premium as like an Apollo Twin, but it makes it light, and you can take this around with you, which I think is really useful too. So now let's talk about my setup here. I have a Sennheiser shotgun mic. I like having it out of frame. And this is so easy. All you do is tap on the corresponding button above that channel, and it gives you the settings. And you can just choose a mic, and it will give you a preset. Now, if you're new to podcasting, I suggest you pick up the Rode mic to go with this, because they've actually set up presets for those microphones, which is great. I just chose the NT1. I don't know why. I don't have an NT1, so I just chose that. And then what you can do is there's presets, advanced effects. So in processing, you can actually have it in a simple mode where you just turn up basically your treble and the punch. Or if you go into the advanced mode like this, you have all the individual effects. So you have the noise gate and things, and you can tweak them if you want to. I have to say, just the preset by itself is awesome. Let me turn off the processing that it's doing right now, and you can hear my mic without the processing. So here we go. The noise has increased, the level has dropped. It's kind of a bit more honky in the mid-range, and it's just not as such a professional sound, right? I'll turn it back on again. The noise has decreased, but still very natural for a noise gate. And the sound is just more broadcast ready. I like it, and I'm very fussy with this stuff. I had to bring my level up for this microphone that I'm using. I wanted my level here to be hitting in the middle of the green, and the metering on here is great. You can really see what's happening. So I've got it just hitting the green, and then I look at Ecamm and make sure that's hitting around the yellow and not going into the red, maybe at the very loudest volume. But there's also compressors and things in this preset that don't let it hit the loudest volume, which is also really important for podcasting. And I love the fact I haven't had to adjust it. It just seems to be working, and I love that. And I think that's what I was looking for from the device. And if I need to change the level, I can use this slider. Because maybe, like, the effects are on this channel. So maybe I want to play that music and just fade it in. Because on Ecamm Live, when my music starts, it's got this weird glitch at the start every time. So on here, I can actually fade music in and fade it out. And then I can say, okay, and then I can bring it back. I love the fact that I can ride the faders on this. It's really cool. Really, really cool. And you can just stop it. And I was worried with this that I wouldn't be able to see what was happening, because I also have a Stream Deck that I love from Elgato. And on there, the buttons are actually icons. Now, it would have been amazing if those icons on the device could be like that as well. But it would also add a lot to the cost. So my plan now is, rather than having multiple menus on the Stream Deck and having to go into different pages, I can just have basically one page with things like this. In fact, this is a good time to plug this. That can just be for that. I think you can set it up on the Rodecaster as well, to be fair. But I'll just use the Stream Deck now for those kind of things, and I'll use the Rodecaster for the other things. And it's actually much easier than I realized, because if you look at the screen, what happens is you can see on the screen what each button is, and you can toggle between pages as well. So for example here, while I'm on this main screen, I can see here on the right that it says what the sound effects are. So this says air horn, and I'll obviously bring the volume up. And you can keep pressing them too. You can have a momentary or latching. So on this one, it's momentary. And it's so much more satisfying to do it on that than it is with a button on the Stream Deck, or especially with the mouse clicking on the screen. That is not satisfying. Like now, if I get a super chat, I'm like, hey, Rode, thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. You're awesome. It makes it more tactile and it makes it more fun. And I think that's really important too. And then you can have latching sounds. So that would be like this one. So it just keeps playing basically. And you can play sounds over sound. And you can stop them and fade them out. I love the tactile hands-on approach with that stuff. That really makes a difference over other devices. And then you can press this here. And now you've got effects like vocal effects. And this can all be customized and changed. And you can have multiple pages with your own sounds, your own effects, your own needs on these buttons. Even maybe camera changes, light changes if they'll work with this system. So, for example, the effects are really fun too. This is something I didn't have on my older setup. So we have some here. I'll just show you some quickly.
So now I've changed my voice and I can talk mysteriously.
That's really fun. Here's another one.
I sound much higher now. Yes, yes, yes.
The weird thing with that is I can still hear my own voice bleeding through. I just want the fake voice, not my own. But anyway, I'm not sure why that is. But there's a bunch of them. The only thing I have with this is you can't seem to adjust the level of them. So there's a sensor here, which I think is really cool and really fun. But I think it's way too loud. You can tell me in the comments. If I press this, that just kills my ears because of the pitch and the frequency. I'd love to be able to go in and fine tune that and turn that down a few dB. I'd like to see that in a firmware update. That's actually the only two things I've mentioned so far that I'd like to see. The mute button affecting the stream and those effects being adjustable by level. Because some are fine, like I feel like the voice changer is okay. Testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2. But that... Oh, hello.
That's latching. But that beep sound is just obnoxiously loud. I'd like to bring it down just a little bit. Because I'm always worried on a live stream that I'll offend someone by having a sound effect that just... I mean, I've watched streams where they've had a sound effect too loud and it's really irritating. So I'd like to see the ability to either change that or maybe they can just lower it a little bit in the next update. I'm not sure. So the actual stuff out of the box is really useful. I love the sound effects they've given. The sound effects are all ones that I would personally want anyway. The effects are ones that I'd want anyway. So that's all been thought out. This device has been thought out really, really, really well. You can see they have done their homework. They have spoken to creators and got that feedback. There's not much here that I would change. The two things I mentioned are basically it. And having the screen, having everything there, having everything work with your computer without installing stuff is also great. Because another strike against the Apollo Twin is they never really updated the software for the latest Macs. This just runs all in the device and there's no software to install if you don't want to. It just gets picked up by the Mac and it works. So I might in the future, if I do keep this and do use this in my rig all the time, I may wipe my computer, reinstall the whole thing from scratch, and literally just have this connected. I won't have to have all that Apollo stuff installed. Of course, I'll need it if I'm going to do recordings, but my point is you don't need other stuff, other software. Everything is in the box. And that also saves you processing on your computer as well, as does the Apollo, but then the Apollo also puts the plugins on your computer to make the changes. Everything here is done from the touchscreen. And a quick word about the touchscreen, it might not look incredible on the screen right now because I've got the iPhone on it and it's also still got the film. And yes, I'm not going to remove the film on the camera. I'm leaving it there. I will do it soon. I'm not one to leave things on screens. I will do, but I'm not doing it on this video. Maybe another video, so you have to subscribe for that one. But the touchscreen is very high quality. I'm impressed because I have a Neural DSP Quad Cortex, which is a great device. And the touchscreen is nice, but it's not as good as an iPhone. This is not quite as good as an iPhone, but it's better than the Quad Cortex. I was like, this is what they should have put on the Quad Cortex. It's really, really clear, easy to read, even though it's fairly small at a distance. I can still read it really well. It's very responsive. I'm very impressed. Like for $700 and the Quad Cortex is $1,800, and this has a touchscreen like this. It's really, really good. So that's kind of my story, you know, like there's some other options here too. If you tap on the settings, So you've got your outputs, you can connect it to your monitors. Oh, quick thing about the headphones. The Apollo Twin headphone output is weak on most of my headphones. I'm always running it at 100%. On here, you can actually choose what kind of headphones you're using, and that changes the volume of those headphones. So on the ones I had it on, or the high sensitivity mode, it's kind of low, like on the Apollo, but on this low sensitivity, it makes it much louder. So as you can see, I'm just running my headphones at 50%, where on the Apollo, I might have to run it at 100%. That's nice. Little things like that are really cool. Don't forget, on this device, you can also record directly to the device. That's something you can't do on an Apollo or something like that. I know I'm comparing apples to oranges, but that's the point of the video, I guess. The processing here, that's where you set... Oh, this is great too. There's an output delay, which confused me a little bit, because I use an output delay on Ecamm Live to make my camera sync up to my audio. And I use a 5-frame delay. On here, it uses milliseconds. So I'm not sure how to do that. And to be honest with you, I spent so long trying to get Ecamm in sync. I don't want to mess with that right now. I'd like to see him change that to frames and not, or give you the option of frames or milliseconds, because I'd love it if the device did that for me instead of Ecamm, but it doesn't really matter. This master section here is amazing because it gives you another compressor. So on this mic right now, you're hearing compression, EQ and effects, and de-esser as well, which is great. It makes those S's, the sibilants, reduce. Fantastic. But then the master one here further does everything. So it basically gives you that compressed professional radio kind of sound. And even if I speak loud, so Ecamm just went into the red, which is okay, but it didn't clip. Without that, it would clip. And in the past, I've struggled with other devices, like how do I make it so so it won't clip, and how do I add all these compressors? And you do need like a music degree to do that. With this thing, it just kind of works, and you can still fiddle around with it, but it just works, right? And everything is there in the box. You haven't got to buy other stuff. You can also change the inputs. Another thing, I know I'm going on tangents now, but I've changed this input 4 to be my computer audio. So before in Ecamm Live, you could run system audio, it would be out of sync with your guitar. So trying to teach someone or jam online over a track, you'd be out of sync, it would sound out. On here, computer audio is on 4, and I did that by just reassigning the USB audio, which is computer audio, to 4, so I have the physical slider. Because these sliders at the end are virtual, you have to go in a menu to change them. The physical slider now has that on 4. So the amazing thing is, that was now my computer audio. So if I want to show a video or jam over a track, I can play it in QuickTime or something, pull up that fader as loud as I want it, and then I can plug in the guitar and play over it, and it will be in sync. Theoretically, it will be in sync because everything's just going through the Rodecaster and not through Ecamm Live. Nothing against Ecamm Live, it's the way they had to work around it, but now we don't have to, we can do it all in the device. There were other options to get around that too, things like loopback, but I didn't like that. I didn't like I had issues with a buzzing some noise, some not buzzing, but I had some issues with some popping noises. And it's another thing to buy. Again, this is all in the device and takes that thing out. Everything is just done here. And if something's too loud, rather than go to the computer and use the mouse, you just pull the fader down, which I just think is so valuable. There are covers for this. I'll probably get the dust cover so dust doesn't get in here over time and affect the sliders. But it's great. And I did pre-order from Sweetwater. I'll put the Sweetwater link below. I advise you to use them. A quick disclaimer, I have affiliate links with them at no cost to you. I do get a small commission. The reason I buy from them is because you get a 2-year technical backup, which is great. And I had my order with them, but they're not getting them until next week at time of this video. I discovered that B&H actually had them, so I ordered. The shipping was next day because of where I live, and I got it next day. And I just wanted to get one. But if you're watching this in the future, order from Sweetwater, get their awesome support. And I mean, B&H are great too, but get the Sweetwater technical 2-year coverage and their great support. I'll put the link below, and also to some accessories if you're interested in those. The only issue I have with this is that on my desk, it's too big for my desk, despite the very compact size. Mostly because the XLR cables, as you know, are like this. They're sticking out the back. I've found some adapters online that will convert them into right angle cables. I'm going to try those. If they work out, I'll put the links to those below as well. That means I can then push the device further back on the desk and still have my keyboard in front of it. Because I really want to have the access to the device, the Rode, so I can just grab those things and press those buttons, right? And again, that's not the fault of Rode. They've made this the perfect size. It's just, as you know, desk space is always a problem. You can actually mount this onto a mic stand and have it beside you, but my room is also very small, so I'm going to get those adapters and push it back, and it's going to be great. And I think it will mostly replace the other interface, the Apollo Twin. I think it will mostly replace that. I'm not going to get rid of it because it is smaller. It's easier to take on the road, and it is Rode. You know. Oh, where's my? There we go. And you see, it wasn't loud enough. There we go. So it is smaller. It's easier to carry around. I'll definitely keep that. I've also invested in their plugins and things, so I'm not going to get rid of that. But I think for a lot of stuff that I do, this will be better because it's got the 4 inputs and all those fun sounds and effects and things like that. I'm very impressed. It was kind of hyped when it was released. Rode do seem to make great stuff, and some people say, oh, it'll get better with time because of firmware updates. Never buy something based on the fact it will get better. Buy something for what it does today. And even if they did no updates to this today, it would still be a great product. If they do updates and add features, it'll be even better. That's exciting. So I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. I'm sure there's more things I wanted to say today, but I think that encapsulates in not too long of a video how I feel about it initially. And I am really, really enjoying it. Once I got over those initial things that I mentioned earlier, I'm really digging this thing, and I can't wait to actually use it in a real live stream and for more videos. But this is a recorded video, so let me know what you think of the audio in the comments below. Let me know if you got one, if you're going to get one. I'll put my links below, and I probably have more videos on this in the future as they add features. I usually do guitars and gear on here, so if you're a musician, please subscribe and ring the bell. Where is it? But also, if you're into this kind of stuff, I do talk about this as well, because part of live streaming, or live streaming is a part of what I do with music as well. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe for future videos, ring the bell, and I'll see you. Well, let's do it like this, shall we? I'll see you in the next video. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.